Day 80. Here we go. This thing is already like night and day, lighter and easier to use. Oh, look how dark I am. Good Lord. Today I am selling one of the 1DX2s that I have. I have no need for two of these, plus a 5D4. Plus an R5, so I'm selling one. I'm a little sad about it because it is my favorite go-to camera. Well, it was until this one. So I sold the 1DX2. It's gone. Well, one of them. I have two of them, so technically I only sold half of. Anyways, it's gone. This guy in this red car behind me, he just bought it. We had like a 20-minute conversation, just kind of going through our passions and what we like and what we've used and what I think about this camera, what he's looking forward to in the 1DX. Anyways, it's kind of hard to get rid of a camera that I love because the 1DX2 has been like my go-to since 2016, and that camera is just I've documented obviously all of my vlogs, like so many weddings. That was almost as hard to get rid of as my 5D Mark II. I think that if I had to get rid of my main 1DX2, I would actually probably cry because I'm pathetic. But anyways, that's where I'm at today. Here we go. Very, very tired. I left the house at 7. It's 5. I spent probably 2/3 of that time just driving. I'm exhausted. It's already dark outside. I can't go film anything. This sucks. There's always some kind of package at our house. That's the one constant, I guess. It's weird, it's like so eerily quiet that I feel like I have to talk quietly, which I don't, but still do. Hi. Hello. It's dinner time. But quite literally, nothing happened today because I got last minute appointments to go run and do stuff that never even happened. Just kind of annoyed. It's pitch black outside right now, and I literally have been home for like 10 minutes. So hopefully at some point pretty soon I'll be able to take this thing out and get some actual footage with it, but it's not happening today apparently. I have to admit though, having this camera has just been wonderful. Even though I haven't really gone out and filmed anything with it yet, just having it for today and for walking around and for doing the little bit of stuff that I've done is great. Like, just absolutely wonderful. So I'm the kind of guy that like fully researches cameras before I buy them. This one, I researched it for a little bit. Like, I understand that it does like 8K. I understand that it is 4K at 120 frames per second. There's a few things I didn't know though before actually owning it. One of them is that it has this 4K HQ mode, and essentially what that does is it records everything in 8K internally and then it compresses it to 4K on the card. So you're essentially getting an oversampled 4K image that's sampled from 8K. So you're getting that much more detail, that much more depth, that much more in the color space. Just there's so many more pixels going into that 4K. It's kind of like what I do with the YouTube stuff, where I record everything in a higher resolution and then take that high resolution and export it down so that when it gets uploaded, it's just the highest quality that it can possibly be, because it's essentially oversampling those pixels, which is why a lot of the footage will come across as like really clean, really crisp. That's the 4K that you're seeing. All the previous videos that I've had, all the slow motion has been in 1080p, because the 1DX is limited to 1080p. This camera, on the other hand, has 4K 120 frames per second. So I'm really excited to use that and incorporate that into these videos, because that's just so much higher quality. Whereas, you know, before let me just show you. So this is a 4K clip in its entire, it fills the whole screen because of how the sequence is set up. Now, if I were to drag in a slow motion clip from the 1D, the 1080 clip, that's how many pixels a 1080p clip is inside of a 4K. So essentially what you have to do is you have to fill that frame, thus stretching those pixels to fit the entire sequence. So whereas like this is super sharp in 1080, as soon as you stretch it out to 4K, it starts to become a little more muddied. So that's one of the things that, like, especially with having 4K as a slow motion option, I no longer have to stretch that image and oversample that and make it kind of fuzzy. Then that's why in the past, all of these videos and all of these clips, all of the slow motion has been slightly underwhelming, because it's not super tack sharp like the rest of the video. So I'm really pumped on that, and I really hope that I can get out and go film something. I don't care what it is. It could be anything. I just want to have some documentation. And I think what I might do too at some point this week or maybe next is take this camera and take the 1DX2 and just do side by side. Try to recreate the same shot twice and just kind of go over the fact of like how different this camera looks and how much better this is for those specific reasons. Because I'm a super visual learner. Like I like to have tangible, visible things that I can learn from. I don't do well with like reading books, things like that. Those bore me. Like reading all this stuff online is one thing, but then when someone on YouTube or somewhere shows me how something works and how it operates and how it functions, like, oh, that makes way more sense. So being able to get my hands on this and being able to show you guys kind of what I'm seeing as far as quality and the difference between the two cameras and why I spent so much money on this camera might help you understand why I'm so crazy. But to be fair, this camera, even brand new, is only $4 grand, right? Whereas the 1DX2 is a $6,000. Anyways, that's just a whole other topic of why do I spend so much money on cameras. It's pathetic. Anyways, that's the daily vlog. It's every single day. Love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.